This is a step that we're taking to inflict further pain on Putin, but there will be cost as well here in the United States.
President Biden announced another sanction on Russia today, the most severe yet, but you'll feel the effects as well. We'll take a look at the latest action coming up.
Changes are coming for electric vehicle drivers on campus. Find out what the university has planned for the coming weeks.
And as a part of our continuing coverage of the Black Alumni Reunion, we'll take a close look at the legacy of Jackie Sershin straight ahead. NewsWatch Ole Miss starts now.
Good evening and welcome to NewsWatch Ole Miss. I'm Hannah Deere.
And I'm Leah Blevins. After calls from the president of Ukraine and many within the United States, President Biden announced today that the U.S. is banning all oil and other energy imports from Russia. In 2021, 8% of American energy came from Russia. That's not something that America's allies in Europe can say, as they are far more dependent on Russia for their energy. That's why the president said today that the United States is acting alone on this particular sanction.
We're moving forward with this ban, understanding that many of our European allies and partners may not be in a position to join us. But we're working closely with Europe and our partners to develop a long-term strategy to reduce their dependence on Russian energy as well.
While this sanction will hit Russia harder than any other, the same can be said about its effects on Americans. The national average price at the pump hit an all-time high this weekend, and then again yesterday and again today. CNN's John Lawrence has a closer look at the record surge of gas prices.
The cost of filling up is going up.
88, yeah. That's a lot more than I thought it'd be.
According to the Oil Price Information Service, the national average for a gallon of regular gas is $4.14 as of Monday night. That breaks the record set during the summer of 2008 by 3 cents.
We're definitely watching our pennies on where we spend it, but for the most part, I mean, it's kind of kicking our behind.
Analysts say the crisis in Ukraine is fueling the latest price hike.
Because of the actions of President Putin, because he invaded a sovereign country, that created instability in the markets.
While the White House said oil producers have the profits and permits to drill more, some Republicans say the situation can be improved from within.
This White House seems determined to go hat in hand and beg every bad actor around the world to ramp up their own fossil fuel production, but still will not stop their holy war against our own American energy production here at home.
Americans probably won't be getting a break in the near future. The Oil Price Information Service says a national average of $5 a gallon is possible. Many California commuters are already paying more than that.
Not a thing. There's nothing to do except deal with it.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Today, the national average jumped to $4.17. Here in Mississippi, the average price at the pump is $3.85.
With the sharp rise in gas prices, many people are considering making the switch to electric vehicle, but it can be hard to find a place to charge your car, especially in the South. But the university is planning to make it more accessible. NewsWatch reporter Tucker Lewis went to find out what they have planned.
The University of Mississippi is adding 6 charging stations for electric vehicles while students are gone during spring break. Assistant Director for Parking and Transportation Systems, Hal Robinson, says that more and more students driving non-gas cars was a major reason for the new additions.
Well, the biggest event is the fact that we have students who now are bringing EV-only vehicles to campus. So they're not hybrids, they're not something that there's no other place to charge them.
Right now, there are only 2 charging stations on campus for electric vehicles, one behind the Turner Center and one by Lamar Hall, which has been out of service for almost 2 years now.
We are currently planning on replacing both of those with new units, hopefully over spring break.
University of Mississippi Physics Department research scientist David Sanders drives a 2017 Prius Prime and thinks the new spots on campus could encourage more people to drive an electric vehicle.
Well, it's really good that the campus is providing this and for free, and it's it's a good thing looking forward. To encourage this for myself and others.
The new electric vehicle charging stations on campus will not have any effect on regular parking, and anybody can park there as long as they drive an electric vehicle. Tucker Lewis, NewsWatch Ole Miss.
New charging stations aren't only coming to campus. The city of Oxford is working with the Tennessee Valley Authority to bring more charging stations to the city as well.
The Starbucks on West Jackson Avenue is the first location in Mississippi to announce plans to unionize as a part of Starbucks Workers United. 10 of the branch's employees have written and signed a letter addressed to the company's CEO, Kevin Johnson, containing complaints of homophobia, transphobia, racism, and overwork. Although this is Mississippi's first, Starbucks is no stranger to unionization. Over 100 branches nationwide have petitioned to hold elections of their own. Starbucks has repeatedly stated that while it doesn't think its workers need unions, it respects their rights to organize.
The Lafayette County Board of Supervisors held a hearing last night to give local residents a chance to have their voices heard on medical marijuana. As we reported earlier this month, cities and counties have 90 days to opt out of allowing medical marijuana facilities for growing or selling. Local attorney Roberts Wilson, along with a handful of local residents, spoke in favor of not opting out, citing benefits such as decreased alcohol sales, reduced use of dangerous drugs like Xanax and Klonopin, and more job opportunities in Lafayette County. Sheriff Joey East spoke for the opposition to allow the county time to see the effects on law enforcement. The board did not make any decisions at the hearing and has not set a date for an official opt-out vote.
Students across campus are casting their votes today in the Associated Student Body elections. Students can vote for the executive board, which includes ASB president, as well as Senate seats for academic and registered student organization representatives. Students can vote until 7 p.m. tonight. Just log into your My Ole Miss account and go to the Get Involved tab. Then click Vote in Student Elections to cast your ballot.
Yesterday, we heard from alumni at this weekend's Black Alumni Reunion about their experience, but the event provided more than just a chance to relive memories. NewsWatch reporter Anna Caroline Barker went to one of the events honoring the legacy of a vital member of the community. She joins us now. Anna Caroline?
Thanks, Leah. This weekend's events were full of memories, including memories of those who have gone before us. This weekend, Ole Miss held their annual Black Alumni Reunion filled with various events, including a walk in memoriam of the beloved Jacqueline Sershin, who died of natural causes last December at age 48.
The vibe that she gave off to me was one that my grandmother gives me, so I felt very comfortable opening up to her and talking to her and just letting her be there to give me advice.
Fondly remembered as one of the brightest lights on campus, Sershin served as assistant director of Fast Track and is remembered as a tireless advocate for Ole Miss students and a beacon of hope to many.
She was my school mom, as I love to call her. I'm getting emotional because I worked here with her in Howry Hall my entire time of being in school. She let me be her assistant my entire time here.
She spent decades at the university, leaving lasting impacts on many of her former students who still can't believe she's gone.
She was a mentor, she was a mom, she was a sister, she was a friend, and she gave love to everyone that she came into contact with.
Friends, colleagues, and former students walked on campus together this past Saturday morning to honor Jackie, reminiscing on the positivity she implemented in their lives.
Jackie, we miss you, we love you, and we know that you're smiling down on us. To God be the glory for all that He has done.
You can find a full profile of Sershin and her impact on student success at the University of Mississippi on news.olemiss.edu. Anna Caroline Barker, NewsWatch Ole Miss.
Thanks, Anna Caroline. Back in Washington, yesterday the Senate passed the Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act. The bill, named for a Mississippi boy who was lynched for allegedly whistling at a white woman, makes lynching a federal hate crime. Senator Chuck Schumer spoke in praise of the bill after its passage.
After more than 200 failed attempts to outlaw lynching, Congress is finally succeeding in taking the long overdue action by passing the Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act. Hallelujah, it's long overdue.
The House passed the bill by a wide margin last week, so it now heads to the president's desk for his signature.
Overby Fellow and former CBS White House correspondent Randall Pinkston is moderating a forum on critical race theory and its intersection with education tomorrow at the Overby Center Auditorium. The topic of the discussion centers around a bill banning the teaching of critical race theory in state schools, which passed through the Mississippi legislature last week, and how that bill may affect the way civil rights history in the Magnolia State is taught. Pinkston will be joined by Dr. Robert Luckett, director of the Margaret Walker Center at Jackson State University and member of the Jackson Public School Board, as well as Charles Overby. The event begins at 5:30 p.m.
The conflict in Ukraine rages on, and now more than 2 million refugees have fled the country to escape it, creating a humanitarian crisis in Europe. We'll have the latest details coming up, but first, here's a look at your current weather conditions.
Each year, hurricanes and major flooding threaten cities, towns, and rural homes across the Gulf states. So chances are there will be more storms and floods near here again. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has all the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Yeah! Sam, Elmo! Oh, hey, Julia! You ready to play band with us? I'm gonna play my clarinet.
And Elmo's gonna play his drum.
Drum loud. Oh, well, you know what to do, Julia.
Julia knows.
Mm-hmm. With Julia's autism, loud sounds can be too much.
But she still loves to make music. Play band.
Early screening for autism can make a lifetime of difference. Find out more at screenforautism.org.
Where's your emergency?
Everyone's on their way. What happened?
Your friend's not breathing.
Yes, please get my mom and dad. Oh my God!
Despite the latest sanctions from the United States, Russia's invasion of Ukraine shows no signs of stopping. And now civilian casualties from Russian attacks are on the rise. CNN's Chris Wynn has the latest on the conflict.
As Russian attacks intensify in Ukraine, the humanitarian crisis deepening by the minute.
This horror cannot be endured. I cannot express it. The fear, the crying children.
Ukrainian authorities say at least 21 civilians were killed in a Russian airstrike overnight in the city of Sumy. Several attempts to evacuate civilians failed earlier this week. Western leaders accusing Russian forces of targeting pre-approved safe routes.
Targeting civilians is a war crime, and it's totally unacceptable.
According to the United Nations, nearly 500 civilians have been killed since the war began, but officials believe the number is even higher. More than 2 million refugees have already fled the country.
We have not seen in Europe a crisis escalating so fast since the Second World War.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky attempting to shame the West to save his people.
The fault is with the occupants, but the responsibility is with those who still haven't secured Ukrainian skies from the Russian killers.
But the U.S. and Europe must walk a fine line, facing a nuclear-armed Russia. Tuesday, President Biden amped up economic pressure by banning Russian energy imports, while NATO is still ruling out a no-fly zone.
We have a responsibility to ensure the conflict does not escalate and spread beyond Ukraine.
In Washington, I'm Chris Wynn reporting.
Companies continue to take action against Russia. Today, McDonald's temporarily closed all stores within the country in response to its continued military action.
Back in our borders, the coronavirus nationwide Test to Treat initiative kicks off today. As part of President Biden's COVID-19 preparedness plan, hundreds of pharmacies and health centers will be available to administer COVID tests and on-the-spot antiviral pills. There will be an increase in efforts to make sure people know new treatments are available and important.
Speaking of the coronavirus, almost 1 week after the university adjusted its mask policies to make them optional, COVID cases are still low on campus. There are currently 4 total confirmed cases, 3 staff members and 1 student. The Mississippi Department of Health reports 149 new cases from yesterday. Hospitalizations and deaths in the state are down significantly since this time last month.
Today, the Mississippi State Department of Health announced that State Health Officer Dr. Thomas Dobbs will resign from his position at the end of July. Dobbs has held numerous roles since his start with the department in 2008. After leaving the office, Dobbs said he wants to return to clinical settings for more hands-on disease treatment. The State Board of Health will begin the process of finding an interim state health officer in the coming weeks.
There is nothing quite like the heartbreak of opening a new bag of chips only to find it to be half full. Well, this issue may be affecting more than just snack foods. More and more products are shrinking in size or quantity. Retail industry experts say record levels of inflation are costing companies more to produce all sorts of items, so they can either raise prices or give you less. It's called shrinkflation. As frustrating as it is for you, just know hiking prices is a last resort for companies because they know you'll notice, and it could reduce the demand for their product.
In other consumer news, Apple held its first launch of the year today. The company unveiled a new budget iPhone SE, an updated iPad Air, and a new Mac Studio, a desktop computer without a display. Both the iPad and the Mac will be powered by a new M1 Ultra Mac chip. The price for a Mac Studio will start at $4,000 and the new iPad at $600. The iPad hits stores March 18th. The new iPhone 13 drops this Friday with a new green color available, just in time for St. Patrick's Day.
What is the Wordle answer today? This phrase is being searched more and more according to a study by WordFinder X. They looked at Google search trends for the answer to Wordle's daily puzzle and found that New Hampshire has more Wordle cheaters than any other state, with Rhode Island and Vermont tied for second place. The site says cheating nearly tripled since the New York Times bought the game in January when it went viral.
And coming up in sports, the Ole Miss men's tennis team fell to the #2 ranked team in the country in their SEC opener. And earlier today, NFL quarterback Aaron Rodgers announced which uniform he'll be wearing next season. I'll have that and more up next in sports.
I am a nurse,
a firefighter, a college student,
a mother, and I am an American soldier.
I will always be ready
for every storm and disaster that threatens my community. I will always be there to protect my neighbors,
my family,
and my country.
We are the Army National Guard.
We are the Army National Guard.
We are the Army National Guard.
Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more about part-time service.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
I just found out my work party is a +1. You want to go? This is my boss, Ella.
Nice to meet you, Greg.
You're welcome. Nope, I'm high. But I'll clean the kitchen while you're gone.
You're already making good decisions when you're high.
Pool party at Jesse's. Can you drive? I'm toasted.
Nope, I'm high. But I can order us a ride.
Don't make an exception when it comes to driving. If you feel different, you drive different.
We are Ole Miss Rebels. As Mississippi's flagship university, we dig deeper, see farther, work harder. We pioneered human organ transplants. We helped prove Einstein's theory of gravitational waves. We are distinguished as a Carnegie R1 top 2.5% research institution. We are Ole Miss, transforming lives and the world.
The baseball team was set for a matchup with Memphis this afternoon, but inclement weather in the Oxford area forced the decision to postpone the game. The game will now take place on March 23rd at 6:30 p.m. The number 2 ranked Rebels will be in action next tomorrow when they square off with Alcorn State. First pitch is at 6:30 p.m. The softball team's contest with Southern Miss has also been postponed due to the bad weather. The team will be in action next this Thursday at 5 p.m. when they begin a 3-game series with Stephen F. Austin. Now serving things over to the tennis court, the men's team fell short in their SEC opener, losing to number 2 ranked Tennessee by a score of 6-1. Ole Miss fought hard in front of a large crowd, but in the end, the Volunteers were too polished. The Rebels' record now stands at 10-4 overall, with all 4 of those losses coming to top 11 opponents. This weekend, the team will pack their bags and head to Tuscaloosa to face Alabama on Friday, March 11th, and then to Baton Rouge for a showdown with LSU on Sunday, March 13th. The men's golf squad landed a big transfer this morning. Head coach Chris Malloy announced that the 2021 Mountain West Golfer of the Year, Hugo Townsend, will be spending the final year of his NCAA eligibility as an Ole Miss Rebel. Townsend, who is currently number 24 in the PGA Tour University Velocity Global Rankings, had played for Boise State since 2018, and he will join Ole Miss for the 2022 fall season. Coach Malloy told reporters how excited he was to welcome Townsend to Oxford, and he said he could tell it was a perfect fit from the first visit. We look forward to seeing Townsend tear it up on the links next fall. And a blockbuster trade went down in the NFL today. Longtime Seattle Seahawks quarterback Russell Wilson was shipped off to Denver this morning. In return for the 9-time Pro Bowler, the Seahawks received tight end Noah Fant, defensive lineman Shelby Harris, quarterback Drew Lock, 2 first-round picks, and 2 second-round picks. This move for the Broncos could thrust them right into playoff contention. The Seahawks appear to be doing the opposite. Offensive line struggles and other issues prevented them from making the playoffs this past season, and they appear to be looking to rebuild using their numerous draft picks and their young core. And reports broke this morning of Aaron Rodgers signing a massive 4-year, $200 million contract extension to remain with the Green Bay Packers. But Rodgers announced via Twitter that the reports are not accurate. Rodgers stated that although it is true that he will be signing back with Green Bay, he has not actually signed the contract yet, and its exact length and amount are not official yet. This deal comes as a surprise due to the fact that Rodgers announced before the beginning of last season that it would be his last ride with the Packers. but he seems to want to avenge their heartbreaking loss to the 49ers in the NFC divisional round this past season. Rodgers will also have his favorite target back next season. Today, the Packers assigned the franchise tag to superstar wideout Davante Adams, which means the duo will be back to terrorize defenses for another year. And that's all I've got for sports. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, rebel_watch, for the latest sports updates.
Thanks, Carson. How many firefighters does it take to get a cat out of a tree? Apparently at least this many. But this isn't your typical cat rescue. Find out why coming up on NewsWatch.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Anytime they're playing music downstairs, it's loud. I go downstairs, see what they're doing, see what music they're doing, see what they're dancing to. I go play piano downstairs, they come get involved. Leah has a drum set beside it, banging that. Any music, that's what they do.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
A 17-year-old boy in Indianapolis was out at the park when he noticed a cat stuck in a tree. He immediately jumped into action to help the feline, but quickly found himself in a similar predicament.
The fire department showed up to help, but had to call the rope rescue team to help get him down. The rope rescue team then had to call the tactical team. It took about an hour to get him down, but he made it back to the ground safely. As for the cat, it was perfectly happy staying in the tree.
That is a story meant for the storybooks.
Yeah, I want to see how big this tree was.
Absolutely.
And how did he get up and without being able to get down?
Yeah, I don't know. Okay. Had to be massive, had to be crazy. Yeah. Would have loved to be there. Yeah. That's all for tonight. For NewsWatch Ole Miss, I'm Leah Blevins.
And I'm Hannah Deere. But before we go tonight, we do have a special thanks. Tonight is Leah's last show on NewsWatch. So Leah, for all of us here at NewsWatch, thank you for everything you've brought to the team over the years. It's been a pleasure to work with you, even back in high school. Thank you, and good night.